I'm Spencer Matthews, and you're listening to Untapped, where incredible athletes and inspirational people show us how we can all untap the potential within us. Today, I sit down with Tommy Fury to discuss his new documentary, charting his journey to get his life back on track and finding new purpose, his rivalry with Jake Paul, and his surprising plans for when his boxing career is over. Please do follow or subscribe to the show wherever you're listening so you don't miss new episodes. We have truly incredible guests every single week, and you wouldn't want to miss one. Let's get untapped with Tommy Fury. Tell me who the real Tommy Fury is. Someone in your position, the notoriety is so vast that the majority of people only really see what is printed and what is shared online.
To put it in a nutshell, I mean, this is the reason why I've made the documentary, the reason why I decided to do it. Through what you've just said, you know, people only see me in the ring fighting or whatever you see on social media, i.e. Instagram, you know, TikTok, whatever videos are out there. But people don't know the real me. Everyone just knows me as being on Instagram, being the family man, and being the fighter. But I'm, you know, I've shared my whole life behind closed doors for a long time now. And I can't wait to see it on the big screen, and I can't wait to see, you know, the reaction to it. And I'm just excited to show everybody who the real me is.
How do you decide what elements of yourself to give?
Do you know what it is? When making this documentary, I thought if I'm going to do it, I'm going to give it 110% because that is who I am in all aspects of my life. I can't do anything 50%. You know, I can't do anything half-heartedly. It's either 110% or nothing. And when making the documentary, I said, you know what? If I'm going to let the cameras in, I'm going to let them in. You're going to see me at my lowest, you're going to see me at my highest, and everything in between.
What's it like being a Fury? So, you know, you've grown up obviously with a world-famous two-time heavyweight world champion, half-brother in Tyson Fury. Your father, John Fury, was a famous fighter. Was there always an expectation on you to be a fighter?
My story is unique because everybody would assume that I've had everything easy in the boxing world and I've had everything give to me because of Tyson and the position that he's in. But it couldn't be any further from the truth. I know I've wrote a book and that's in there. The documentary, everything covers it. You know, I've gone through my hardships and I truly believe I put in that much work when I was a kid. I sacrificed everything. Didn't have a plan B. I loaded all my eggs in one basket to be the man I am today and to have the things I have today.
Take me through your childhood a bit, if you don't mind.
Childhood was the most normal childhood that you could ever imagine. Normal house, normal area, normal school, normal friends, riding a BMX up and down with a pop tire mostly. And yeah, boxing. Where do I start? You know, it's all the way from hitting my dad's hands as a little kid. My dad used to sit down on the settee and I used to be stood up and he used to hit his hands all the time. As I got older, we started doing bits of pads and it was just something that always ran in the family. I used to see my dad go out jogging and I wanted to go running with him. And it was a lot of looking at first. It was a lot of me in the house. I'd be hearing my dad bang away on the bag of a night time and I always used to wonder what he was doing. And then one night I ventured in there to see him pounding away on the bag. And then it started off as me timing him and just watching him. And all of a sudden, you know, I was going out on runs with him and I was hitting the bag and then we was training. And it started from there. And it was boxing is something I always did. It always ran in the family. I was always around it. I tried many other sports, athletics, rugby. Rugby was a big one for me. That's what I thought I was going to be growing up. But boxing just took over. Like my dad says, what's in you will come out of you. Fighting's in me and it's come out of me. That's what I do now for a living. You know, there were tough times as a teenager starting out. I used to have to get 2 buses to the gym. I used to go out all day and all night to train for an hour. So at one particular point in my life, I was training at a gym in Mustard and Collyhurst. I had to catch 2 buses and walk at least 3 miles to that gym. And I would leave at 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. And it would take me all morning. The training used to be at 10 o'clock. It would take me from that time in the morning all the way till the session. And sometimes might even be late for the session. Used to get there at like 10, quarter past, maybe half 10. I used to do all that, train for an hour, and then used to do that all the way home. So I remember it's like I had a full-time job, but I was only actually working for an hour and the rest of it was just trying to get there. And then once I'd trained and I achieved the goal of getting to the gym, I had a great session, trained really hard, but then it was everything to try and get home. And I had to do that all over again. Hours and hours of waiting for a bus. It's just one big cycle that was just one big headache.
What was so special about this gym?
Nothing. Believe me, it was a hard knocks gym. We had hard sparring in there. It was hard training, and it was really grounding. But I just didn't take no for an answer. I knew what I wanted to do, and I knew what I had to do to go and get it. And everything that I've gone through and everything that I've done, it's all in order to get that. I've put so much into this. Since being from a kid, there was nothing else down for me. I said, I'm either going to succeed at this, or I'm gonna spend the rest of my life doing something I don't want to do. And life's too short not to chase your dreams. And I thought, you know what? Fuck it. I don't give a fuck. I'm going after it a million miles ahead, 0 to 100. And that's exactly what I did. Didn't take no for an answer. And if I couldn't get there by bus or by train or whatever, I used to walk. I remember walking home from the gym. It took me like 3 hours one day, 4 hours to walk home from the gym. Like run a little bit, walk a little bit with a big gym bag on my back. Like it took me all day to get back from the gym. But every time I used to get home and lay in bed, I used to think, wow, that was really tough. That was really tough in all weather conditions. It might have been snowing one day, pissing down the rain the other, hailstone. But I used to lay on the bed and I used to get back and it used to be tea time and then straight to bed to do it all again for no money. I was earning no money. So I had to, most of the time, lie and, beg my way onto the bus or to the tram or wherever I was going, just to get there and train for nothing. Just a vision.
Did you ever feel like you were doing it for someone else?
No, I was doing it for me.
What does success look like for you? So what is your dream? I am a massive fan of Whoop, and the all-new Whoop experience is here, and it's absolutely better than ever. If you're new to Whoop, it's the only wearable that turns your health and fitness data into personalized guidance to help you perform at your best. The updated hardware is now smaller, lasts 14 plus days on a single charge, and includes powerful new features like health span tracking, heart screener, and improved sleep performance insights. It doesn't just give you numbers, it helps you understand how your body is doing, how you're recovering, and what changes you can make to improve. Whether you're just getting started or deep into your health journey, Whoop is the tool to help you untap your potential. Click the link below for your first month free.
Success for me looks like being a world champion. That is my dream I've had from being a kid. I'm 26 years old. I've been at them high pressure fights. I've come through them, regardless of who they are. It's still been a massive event, tons of pressure, and I know I don't crack under pressure. I have all the time on my side, everybody in my corner, Tyson, my dad, a full team around me to achieve that goal. But have I achieved success already? Yes. I'm a father. I think I'm a great father at that. I'm doing right by my child. I'm doing right by my partner now. And I'm doing well in life. I'm doing exactly what I wanted to do since being that 10-year-old. I wanted the house, I wanted the cars, I wanted the money in the bank. That's all achieved now. And I can honestly say that. And most people call me lucky and in the right place at the right time. But I wasn't in the right place at the right time when I was waiting for that bus in the freezing cold. I wasn't in the right place at the right time when I was getting my head punched in off-season men in the gym. Or sitting in A&E one night because my jaw was killing me. Like, I wasn't so lucky then. But I didn't stop at them hurdles. Every hurdle that I've come up against, I've ran through it. I've ran over it. And that's the reason why I'm now, because I don't take no for an answer.
Did you find when you would make all this effort to get to this gym, the hard-hitting gym, that you had a bit of a target on your back because of the family that you come from?
I had a huge target on my back. Because I remember nobody cares about someone's first amateur fight, a kid. But with me, it was like I was walking into a world title fight, my first ever amateur fight. I remember it was at the Mahaldo Centre in Oldham, and I fought a local kid, same age, same weight as me, never fought before. But then there was a different buzz when I was fighting because everyone was saying, oh, this is Tyson's brother. Oh, he's meant to be good, he's this and that. And it's like they see you warming up, you look out the curtain, there's like a massive crowd there, and it's like, for fuck's sake. Like, the name brings so much pressure. So it's like you feel like you have to perform. And every fight I've ever had, every sparring session I've ever had, there's always been pressure on that. So you learn to live with it. If you can't handle the pressure, get out the game. But when you grow up with that pressure, it just feels like normal.
The game's changed a lot recently, hasn't it? With the way fights are hyped and, influential people from outside of the sport coming in. Do you see Jake Paul, etc., as a hindrance to the sport, or do you think the way everything has gone has been beneficial to boxing?
I think they're bringing new eyes to the sport. I do think they're doing that. I feel a bit sorry for the fighters that, have put their life and soul into boxing and haven't really got anything out of it. And Jake Paul's come along and these other guys have come along who's just got, a big following on YouTube, and then they've come into boxing and kind of just got these opportunities because they've got a massive platform and a bit of money in the bank. And you got kids who's been doing it from 4 years old who've devoted their life to it, who will never see them opportunities. But I think what people's got to understand, boxing is a business. And that's the way it is. It used to be about how good you can fight, but it's not that way anymore. You can fight like Muhammad Ali, but if you can't sell one ticket, unfortunately, I'm not saying I like it that way, but unfortunately, you ain't going to get the break. Boxing now is about bums on seats. If you can sell out Wembley Arena, but you fight like an old man and you're absolute shit, if you keep filling up Wembley Arena, you're going to be champion. Because that's just how this thing works. Boxing is a business and it's only going to get worse.
We'll come back to that in a sec, but I just thought, where were you when your brother beat Klitschko?
I was ringside for that fight.
Were you?
Yeah.
I remember it. It's just the most incredible thing.
Yeah, it was crazy. I remember it like it was yesterday. I was 17 years old, I think. And yeah, I was ringside for that. And, that was the fight. And the only people that believed he was going to win was his own family and the people in his team. Everybody else was saying, Klitschko, he's undefeated for 12 years, he's never going to win. But there's only us that knew he'd do it. And when he actually did do it, and he got it on the scorecards, because he won easily, he won every round, it was just like, that was everything. Tyson's the reason why our name's up in lights, and he always will be. He's the superstar of the family. He's opened all the doors, and, that moment for me, regardless of what he's done in his career, prior to that Klitschko moment will always be the defining moment.
When you fought Jake, did you see that as a lose-lose situation? Because obviously you're the boxer, you're in many ways defending the sport. Your face is across it. It's on you to beat this guy, and probably beat him well, right?
Yeah.
So, how did that feel? Was there added pressure on that? I mean, I'm sure you felt confident regardless because you seem like a very confident person. But how did it feel stepping into that ring with him, knowing that so many millions of people were almost expecting you to win?
I think it was one of them things, it was a lose-lose because he lost fair and square. I felt like I beat him easy. I outclassed him and just put him on the end of the jab all night. And he couldn't get anywhere near me. And you can see that by watching the fight. He picked the judges, the referee. Everything to do with that show was his. I basically had no say. Yeah, was I worried about it going to points? 100%. I thought if it goes to points, probably not going to get it. And it's going to be disastrous. But I didn't think like that. I said, you are not a better fighter than me. There's no way. And if I can't beat you decisively on points, if I can't make this look like a mismatch, then that's on me. But I'm thankful I did, and I got the decision. But going into that, I was as confident as ever because I knew he just wasn't a better fighter than me. But the funny thing about that was, before that fight, and I had fights, everyone was calling me Love Island kid. He's not a boxer. He's not a true boxer. But then all of a sudden, when you want me to go and beat this guy and save boxing, that's how it was labeled back then. Then all of a sudden, I'm the boxer. Then all of a sudden, I'm the professional, and I've been doing it all my life, and I'm a proper fighter. So, yeah, I did feel like I had the weight of the world on my shoulders. I mean, even that was like a dream for me. Like, to get in the ring, I was on the ring apron and entering the ring, and like you look up, Cristiano Ronaldo was there with his son. Mike Tyson was ringside. Manny Pacquiao, Tyson was there. All these massive, massive, massive names were there. I thought, this isn't real right now. And the amount of pressure that I had on my shoulders was untrue. And I think that was one of the most high-pressured situations any athlete could be in. Because my full career was on the line. Because if I'd have lost that fight against Jake Paul, there is no way I'd have been able to lace up gloves ever again. I've done this all my life, and I'm the boxer, and I come from this royal family of boxing. There's no way I could have lost that. So I had to get the victory, and I went out there and did it, and I did it good. And next time we fight, I'll knock him out this time, and there'll be no question about it.
You're having a rematch?
Maybe in the future. We'll see. Like I said, I've always said this before. I won't scream and cry for a fight. I'm the one with the win. He's the one with the loss. If he wants to try and avenge it, he knows where I am. But until then, I'm happy doing my thing. I've got the win over both of them idiots. And like I said before, I said fighting them. I said fighting them. I'd beat them both inside 12 months. I did that, and I said that I would only fight the big names, and I've done that. So as far as I'm concerned, my job there is done. I will get on my horse now, and I'll learn to be a better fighter. I've my comeback fight, fought a proper fella, a proper legitimate professional, got the win over him, and it's on to being a better fighter. And if them fights arise again, then so be it.
He's getting better, right?
He's getting better, but fighting 60-year-old men ain't going to get him any better. He needs fights like he had against me. He needs proper tests. I know boxing. You're not going to learn anything from fighting a 60-year-old man. It may be Mike Tyson, but it wasn't Mike Tyson. We all know that. We all seen the fight. So at the end of the day, he's doing his thing and I'm doing mine.
You said that last year was one of the more difficult years you've experienced. How are things now for you, and how have you bounced back?
Listen, there's no mistake. 2024 was the worst year of my life. Went through, troubles with alcohol, obviously family, private life. It all went rock bottom. It was the hardest year to bounce back from. But, you only really know there's a problem when you wake up one day and there's no one around and it's just quiet. And that was really a turning point for me. And I was like, shit, really got to get it together now. And nobody's going to give it to me. Can't just snap my fingers and everything be all right again. And it kind of brought me back to the thought that I had when, I was younger, doing all this up and down to the gym. I thought nobody's going to give it to me. And I had the same thought when everything was at rock bottom and everything was fucked. I thought, okay, well, nobody's going to get anything back for me. It's time to get up now. I've done what I've done. I've drank. I drank the drink. I chose to do that. I chose to keep doing that. And that's on me. So, now it's on me to get everything back. And it all starts here. And for me, the road to getting all that back was training. Training was the thing that helped pull me through it, because no matter how bad everything was around me at that time, going to that gym for 2-3 hours, a time in the day, I used to come out the gym feeling immense, like Superman. Used to come out the gym, big sweat on, protein shake, cold shower, and all my problems would just wind away. I thought, do you know what? I'm just going to keep doing this 2-3 times a day, driving myself to the well. This is how I'm going to get through it. And then one day turns into 2 days, turns into 3 days. And then all of a sudden, you're 4 weeks into training like a madman. Everything seems to be on the rise because you're feeling good. And for me, a healthy body is a healthy mind. If you look in the mirror and you're happy with yourself, that makes me have a great day. It's like now, I've able to overcome adversity. I've able to go through that, been at my lowest of lows, and now I'm back at my highest of highs. And that's all through here. It all starts in the mind. And nothing and no one can get something done for you. You have to do it yourself.
I think it's an excellent point. Consistency and accountability are incredibly powerful tools to progress.
Yeah.
What is your relationship with alcohol now? It took a turn for you when you injured yourself. You had to get surgery on your hands.
Yeah, I had to get surgery on my hand after the KSI fight. And in 2024, right at the start, that's when I had the surgery done. And being told that you can't do something that you've been doing from being a child, 12 to 18 months, you're out of action. Forget about it. It's kind of a hard thing to do, and you try and do stuff around it. I tried the whole training with one arm thing and doing all this and doing all that. But as I said before, I'm 100% or nothing guy. And you find yourself not doing a lot. I couldn't even wash myself properly in the shower because I'd been cast on. When the cast came off, couldn't move my hand past that. And all of a sudden you sat down and you think, what can I do now? One, feel pretty good. I can do that. And it turns into two. And then you feel pretty good. You forget about the hand. You forget about everything that you've been told. That there's no fights or no boxing for 18 months. It's like, forget about it. It's all right. I feel good. Then that turns into an everyday occurrence. Like you start wanting that feeling more and more. And that's the only thing I could do. That's the only thing I wanted to do. And I wanted to do a lot of it. And that drove me to, obviously, problems in my private life. It drove me to everything. And you really do hit the ground. But I've got no one else to blame. And once you accept accountability, like you said, for it, that's when you can move past it. And I got so far into it, when everything was gone and I was waking up in a house by myself and I could hear my own echoes, I thought, right, this is a problem. This is a really big problem. And then that was the journey of me turning it all around. And trading was at the forefront of my mind every single day. And then that just bred positive thoughts and positive actions, cut the drink out. And my relationship now with alcohol, it couldn't be further from my mind. I'm so different to the person that I was. It's like making this documentary and watching them tough times back. I don't even recognize the guy that I was. That's like looking at a totally different person. Whereas now, like I say, if it's an occasion or whatever, I'm able to be normal with a drink, have a couple of drinks, and that's it. I'm able to do that now. Whereas in the past, I'd be drinking all week.
I think once you develop a mature relationship with this kind of stuff, it sticks with you. You know, I was smiling then because when you were speaking, there's just so much symmetry with my journey with this stuff. You know,
Yeah,
I know exactly what you're talking about. Um, if I look back at my former self,
yeah,
we physically don't look the same.
yeah,
Like I was saying to somebody the other day that if I walked past myself 10 years ago in the street,
yeah,
I don't think I'd even stop to think that the bloke looked like me. You know, like
yeah,
we're not
yeah,
even we're physically different, appearance
yeah,
different, everything different. Like your moral compass is different, your
yeah,
drive is different, everything is different. And it's unbelievable to think that a what could be just a small change in somebody's life. You know, I came from a very problematic space with alcohol, but you know, some people who don't abuse alcohol, who then just quit,
yeah,
their life changes as well. You know, it's a really interesting point to somebody like me to hear you so eloquently explain the change. You know, sustained abstinence plus, you know, a clear mind, training,
yeah,
pushing yourself, consistently performing
yeah,
at a higher level, looking at yourself, feeling proud of
yeah,
yourself instead of ashamed.
yeah.
You know, waking up surrounded by the people you love. Big difference in your life.
Big difference. And you start living then. I feel like, when you drink, it's like, it's just, you wake up, everything's foggy, it's horrible. Especially being an athlete. It's like, that's not me. I used to, I look at them old clips and it's like, my face is so fat, like, didn't really care about my appearance. Everything was sloppy. And it's like, that's just not me. Since being a kid, I've always been to the gym. I've always kept myself in shape. I've always took pride in my appearance and I've always wanted to be the best version of me. But then through that year, I just didn't care what version of me was there.
Mm.
And it was obviously the worst version of me. So now to look back at that, yeah, like you say, if I'd have walked past him in the street, I would have never known that guy. And I don't want to know that guy ever again, you know. But listen, I said this before in a previous interview. It's like, I'm not happy about what I went through, but I feel like I'm happy in the lessons that I learned about myself and what I can go through and who I really am. Because it's at them moments when you hit rock bottom and everything's gone and your world's caving, and it's like that's when you really find out who you are. And that's that. And for me, at such a young age, and not just going through this privately, because a lot of people go through this, on their own. But I went through this on like a worldwide scale.
Yeah.
Like everybody knew, you know, what I was doing, looking at me in depth through a microscope. You know, when it all happened, it was all over the news, it was bulletins, it was everywhere. And it was like to come through that and deal with that, that's like an amazing life experience for me. And I didn't think I'd ever be able to go through anything like that and come through it. So the fact now that I'm sitting and talking about it so openly, that's a big deal for me because I never thought I'd be able to do that.
It's a fight in itself.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think your documentary revolves a lot around identity and shifts in identity, which I also think is quite a poignant thought that people can change.
Yeah.
Like that is the truth.
Yeah.
And, you know, a lot of people say people can't change, a leopard can't change its spots. I personally think that is complete rubbish.
Yeah.
I know that people can change, and you know, sustained periods of behaving like the person that you want to be
Yeah.
results in becoming that person eventually. You know, and I think that when I occasionally get asked for advice on how to change your life around, you know, if you find ways of cutting out the negative, poisonous, bad behavior, and you stick with a new way of existing and a new way of being for a sustained period of time, that becomes the reality, you know. And all of this fear of missing things
Yeah.
is just is crazy talk as far as I'm concerned. You're not
Yeah.
missing anything by being overly social, drunk.
Yeah.
I very much agree with your take on things. How is your life now? And when you look in the mirror, do you see what you want to see?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, life now is exactly where I want it to be. My private life is now my private life, which I'm so happy about because it's not been that since I've been 19. I've not had a private life. Nothing's ever been private. So I'm happy about that. When I look in the mirror, I see me. I see that kid who takes care of himself, who trains hard. I see the athlete. I see the guy that I want to be. You know, all my ambitions are there, right where I see him, right in the mirror. I look at myself and I'm happy with myself, and I go out and have a great day. You know, I'm in a routine now where I'm fit and I'm healthy and I'm on top of my game, and there's nothing that I can't conquer.
When you're tired, dehydrated, and struggling to concentrate, making smart decisions gets a little tough. That's why I take Vitals by Heights every single day. Initially, my team recommended it to me to keep me firing on all cylinders because it's not just about keeping my legs moving, it's about keeping my brain switched on and ideally making better life choices. Vitals are packed with 20 essential nutrients, including omega-3s for brain power, B vitamins for energy, and vitamin D3, all formulated by scientists and dietitians. And it just gives me that extra edge, better focus, sharper thinking, sustained energy, faster recovery, and deeper sleep. All in 2 capsules a day. Vitals are the smartest way to fuel your body and mind, so give it a go. Get 20% off your first month subscription at heights.com/untapped or use code UT20 at checkout. What role have your family played in you discovering this new, positive, healthier version of yourself?
A massive role. You know, family is everything to me, and my family's been right there with me every step of the way. I owe everything to my family because I think when you're coming out of a place like that, it's very important to have the right people around you, and family and close friends and what I consider family too. You know, even my close friends and my family, they all pulled me out of it, and they all made sure I was okay every minute of the day, always checking up on me, and you know, I owe everything to them.
When's your next fight?
Next fight, like I say, I'm in good shape now. I'd probably need 6 weeks and I'd be ready to go. That's sort of what I'm doing now, whereas in the past I never did that. You know, it's mad to say that in the past I never used to train all year round. I used to get a call for a fight, and then I used to train. So I'd spend the rest of the year eating, doing whatever I want. You know, not in the boxing gym, not doing nothing. I'd only used to train when I have a fight coming up. Whereas now, I'm in the gym all year round. I keep myself in condition where if the phone goes, I need 6 weeks.
Easier when sober as well. I haven't asked.
Yeah.
Are you sober or do you drink occasionally?
Like I say, drinking is the furthest thing away from my mind right now. But my relationship with alcohol, you know, if I'm at, you know, a wedding or something like that, I'll have a couple of drinks, I'll have a few drinks or whatever. But the biggest thing for me now is I'm able to be normal with it. Back in the past, in that year, I'd be drinking at a wedding and I'd have to be scraped off the floor. Blackout drunk. Like, not remembering anything, stupidly drunk. Whereas now, I can have a few drinks, I can have a laugh, I can go home to bed. And that's the biggest thing about it. But for me, drinking's not on my mind. It's not something that I'm concerned with now. All that I'm concerned with is being the best version of myself, doing my boxing, winning my fights, keep winning, being the best partner I can be, being the best father I can be, and keep being who I am.
For you who said earlier that your dream is to become world champion.
Yeah.
What does the path to that look like? How careful do you need to be with who you're fighting? What is the selection process like? Because for you, being a Fury and being, you know, incredibly famous in that world at this stage, the risk is with you.
Yeah.
So how is that managed? Who does that for you? How do you choose your fights?
So my dad is the person to speak to about that. You know, as far as I'm concerned, I owe everything to my dad. I wouldn't have what I have right now if it wasn't for him. And like I said, you know, when my dad stops training me or he's able to not train me anymore, I'll never box again. You know, my journey and my boxing career is with my dad and my dad only. The day that stops is the day that I stop. But yeah, he's picked out every single fight they've ever had. He's watched the opponent. He's okayed it. He's given me the right game plan for the opponents. He trains me, puts his life and soul into it, and he's never took a penny. Not a penny. And he devotes his time. is everything into a training camp. He really gives it his all. He pushes us to the well every single time, and he makes sure we're fit enough to be in that fight. But regarding who I fight and the pathway for me, my dad sorts all that out. And whoever he says to fight, I jump in the ring and fight.
That's a good position to be in.
Yeah, I mean, the way I look at it is, my dad knows what I can do and he knows what I'm capable of. And if he says to fight this guy, it's like I know he knows that I'm capable of beating him. And yeah, of course he's going to test me here and there and whatever, and it's my job to pull through. But I know my dad's picking these fights because my dad's not with me for money. Because like I said, he's never took a pound. I've offered him loads, but he won't take anything. He just does it for the pure joy of seeing us do well and succeed. And that's a father right there. So at the end of the day, I'm not worried about anything. I know he's going to give me the right fights. And like I say, he knows what I can do. He knows my ability and he knows what I can't do. So whoever he says to fight, I'll be in there.
What does the future hold for you outside of boxing?
The future outside boxing? Well, I've been speaking about this a bit more. I think once my boxing is wrapped up and I'm no longer boxing and finished, I'm going to go into bodybuilding. I'd really like to give that my all because anybody that knows me, my passion and love for bodybuilding is probably just as big as boxing. And it's just definitely something that I intend doing. After boxing, I had pictures of Arnold in my room, on the wall and everything like that. I follow bodybuilding just as much as the boxing. And yeah, when I'm all done, you can definitely see me on that stage.
So competing?
Yeah, definitely. I want to give it, like I say, I'm 110% or nothing. So when I get into the bodybuilding, I'm not just going to be a little physique model or whatever. I'm going 300 pounds, 250 pounds. I want to be as big as I can get. So
wow,
yeah, this is it. And do you know what it is? I want to document the full thing.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it's ever been done before. Like my passion for it, I love the eating, I love the training, I love the cardio, whatever it is to do with it. And I'm going to document the full thing, boxer to bodybuilder, and we're going to see. I'm going to give it my all because I think I trained with Dorian Yates quite recently in Marbella, and I've got the perfect frame for it. I've got the wide shoulders, a small waist, but I've never been able to pursue it because of the boxing. Because you can't bodybuild and box at the same time because it just doesn't work. So I really want to see
Eddie Hall.
Yeah, well, that is a case. I mean, don't think I'm quite as big as Eddie Hall.
No.
But I just want to see where I can take it.
I think if you put 36 kilos on of mostly muscle, that would be a sight to behold.
Oh yeah, and I'm going to do it. I'm really going to do it. Like, this is what's on the cards for me. Like, obviously, I'm boxing now, and bodybuilding is not even really in my mind.
By the way, this is the funniest thing. I couldn't have imagined. Like genuinely, I couldn't imagine.
Really?
No. I can imagine you being a bodybuilder. I just had no idea that was like a dream.
But this is what I say. I say this is what everyone's going to see in the documentary. It's like nobody probably knows this, but now they do, and you're going to find out more things like this and so much more in the doc. So,
are there any other gems that you can share with things that you're competing in or want to do?
I say just bodybuilding for now, and I'll pursue that and take that as far as I can take it and see what happens. And I'd love to get into acting. I think they're my only three things: boxing, bodybuilding, acting. Anything else, it's not really for me. I'm not really interested in anything else. So I've got a few different pathways to go, but I'm enjoying it. I figure you get one life, so if you want to do anything, just go and do it. Because life's way too short to be waiting for chances and opportunities. Go and make your opportunities. I'm taking boxing as far as I can take it, doing everything I can in the sport, and then I'm not wasting any time because I'm not getting any younger. Time's flashing by like that now. So I'm going to go straight into the bodybuilding, take that to the limit, see what I can do with that. And then guess what? If I can get to Hollywood, I'll get to Hollywood. Probably won't, but we'll give it a go.
Well, I think it's well worth a try, isn't it?
Why? Do you know what? Why not?
Exactly.
Why not? What's going to happen? No. Well, I've had plenty of them in my life and still come through it.
An Oscar on the mantelpiece, perhaps.
We'll see. I don't know.
Would you call yourself religious or spiritual or both?
I would. I mean, religion's been a massive thing for me, and it's not something that I talk about it for myself. I don't really speak a lot about it, but every chance I get on big platforms, I'm thanking Jesus Christ and everything that He's given me. Thank you for the victory, and I will continue to do so because that means a lot to me. When I was a kid, me and my brother Roman, we used to be altar boys at a local Catholic church near us. And we go to Rome, we go to the Vatican and stuff. We are quite religious, and it's just something that's important to me. And I've never been one to pressurize others or really put it on anyone else. Like I'm saying this for me. It's important to me, and that's how it'll always be.
Did you get it from your father?
Yeah, everyone in my family is religious, but my nana used to, on my mother's side, used to take us to church every Saturday night, and then obviously every Christmas Eve we used to go midnight mass. It has been very influential, and like I say, I put everything down to Jesus Christ because He's mapped out my path, and I just have to walk it. You know, everything that's happening in my life or gonna happen in my life, it's already mapped out.
So when things were going wrong for you, do you stand by that as well?
Yeah. Yeah, life can't be good all the time. You know, there's ups and downs, and it's always going to be that way. There's always going to be a roller coaster ride, but guess what? It's all part of the plan. And if what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and whatever He's got in store for me, I'll handle it the best way I can and move forward.
How old were you when you did Love Island?
So, kind of did, all the lockdowns. 19, just turning 20. Never watched Love Island before. Like I said, I was just in the gym one day. The phone rang. Do you want to do it? Yeah or nay? I said, no, thank you. I've got fights coming up. My boxer, this is what I do. But lo and behold, the world works in mysterious ways. My fights end up getting cancelled. Got nothing to do. What should I do? Keep ticking over in the gym. I was like, been training for years. Like, I could do with a break. Yeah, go on, I'll do it. Went on there, packed one pair of trainers, pair of shorts, a couple of t-shirts. I thought I was going to be there for a couple of days. Nice little holiday. Like I said, never seen it before. Come off, and yeah, life was never the same again. Crazy whirlwind point in my life.
I remember you being cast in that show, and I've not seen the show myself, but I remember the Tyson Fury's brothers going into Love Island thing, and it was around the time that Love Island was about as popular as it ever has been.
Yeah.
Do you think it would have been possible to have gone into that villa at the absolute height of its popularity and come out with a positive relationship with fame?
I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, I come out with a positive relationship anyway, because I don't think of myself as some celebrity or famous person. I'm just some big nose lad out of Salford. Like, there's nothing special about me. I'm just a normal Jack the Lad type of guy. So I don't think of myself as anything. I'm just still the same guy. He's done all right for himself. I don't think of myself as some celebrity. I really don't.
I suppose it's nice to have that view. Around that time, people heading into that villa would come out with millions of followers, from nowhere, having never done anything before. As somebody that, had been on TV a fair amount, it was interesting to see a following be built so quickly, and also having such a negative effect on some of the people that receive the fame that quickly, because I think when something's given to you like that and then essentially it's, taken away, it can be difficult for a person. But you've never seen anything like that way?
I think it's about how you take it. I mean, listen, don't get me wrong, it's a massive life change. I went into the villa, I think I had like 15, 20,000 followers, and then I was there for probably 7 or 8 weeks. And I came out, I had over 2 million. It's like, you can't go to the corner shop and get a Lucasade without doing 1 million pictures and autographs and videos. And it's like, even for me, I come out and I remember given my phone back. I thought, what's going on here? I said, this ain't no 15, 20,000 account. It's my account. It's someone taking a piss. And it said like 2.1 on there, 2.2. And I said, this has got to be a joke. But I didn't know what was going on until we come off Love Island. And it was the night of the final. But the night of the final, we all stayed in like a normal hotel. And I thought, this is a load of bullshit. I've not got 2 million followers. Because at that point, I'd had more followers than Tyson, which was like ridiculous. I thought, this is a load of crock of shit, this. So I've gone into the hotel and the lift's opened. And bear in mind, I've not experienced fame at all in the slightest before this. Nobody have ever asked me for a picture before. And the lift's open and a kid just froze in front of me. And obviously I wasn't used to this at all. And I was like, you all right? And he's like, I was like, oh. So I don't know what's going on here. So I got in the lift and that was that. And then next minute I look out the window. There's like a sea of people like downstairs, like all waving. I'm like, oh, okay. Something might be a little bit different here. And then I remember the night of the final, there was like a bit of public there and everybody knew our names. And it was like, what's going on? And then the real turning point was when we come back after Love Island, the final's done, flew back into Stansted, and there's people literally ripping you top from left to right, asking for an autograph and a video. And it's like, what is going on? And then from then on, it's like, oh, And then when I got home and I went to all my local areas where I grew up and the shops that I used to go to, it was completely different.
And how was that for you?
I just laughed.
Did you like it?
I wasn't really bothered, to be honest. I was like, well, I don't know what's going on, but fuck it, we'll run with it. But yeah, even now when I think about it, I just think it's so crazy because I'm a kid that got expected nothing of. Nothing was ever down for me to live this life. And the fact that it is, it's just crazy. And you can't really stop and think about it. You've just got to kind of just keep riding the wave. That's all I do.
What do you mean by nothing was expected of you? Is that what you said?
Yeah, because Tyson is, and he will always be the superstar of the family. He's that guy of our family. He's that guy, and nobody else is meant to do that. Like, nobody else is meant to do okay. Like, I can't match what Tyson's done. Nobody can ever match what he's done. What he's done is unthinkable, but what I've done okay for myself, and it just wasn't down for me. I'm the youngest of the family. I was the runt of the litter. I was the guy that was just hanging around the gyms and hanging around the bags, and nobody ever knew that I was going to do what I was going to do or make the impact like I have. And yeah, it's just the fact that it came out of nowhere. It was literally that one phone call at that gym one day, and then none of my family had watched Love Island before. Nobody knew what it was, and nobody expected that what was going to happen was going to happen. And it was like I went on this show, everybody watched me, and then I came off, and it was like, wow, so what's going on? It's like I stepped out of being Tyson's brother, because that's what I was getting named as all the time in the gyms. It's Tyson's brothers. I don't even think they knew my name. To all of a sudden in this place for 8 weeks, and then I come out and I'm like, oh, that's Tommy. And it's like, that's the first time I ever heard my name. And it was just crazy, to be honest, how life works.
Another identity.
Yeah.
So like, I feel like there's been some real shifts in who you are and who you're going to become.
Right now.
Because it's interesting to me. You just said yourself, you were kind of always Tyson's brother.
Yeah.
Then you became very famous Love Islander. Then, on your own merit, with your father's help, became, a credible boxer, beating Jake Paul, that's not the best.
No, of course. No, I get that.
But what I mean by that is, that kind of added a whole new element of superstardom to you, that rivalry with Jake, because essentially his entire following, which is enormous, suddenly becomes violently aware of you, and then, it feels like an ever-evolving story now with the changes of alcohol, the fatherhood, all being well, the more stable family life.
Yeah.
And looking to become world champion and pursuing other avenues. It feels like your life is exciting, interesting, and ever evolving.
Yeah.
Would you say that's fair?
Definitely. There's always something new. And I'd say at this point in my life, I've never had so many identities. I'm the partner, I'm the brother, I'm the father, I'm the fighter, and in a business sense, trying to work on that. Everything's just 100 miles an hour all the time. And I'm grateful for it. I really am so blessed to be in the position that I'm in. And I never take it for granted. It's just about maximizing it to its full potential. And like I said, I don't believe in wasting time. I feel like if there's something that I want to do, I'm going to go out and do it. And I just want to live my life now. And I think I want to, I want to do what makes me happy. And I don't believe in, just cracking on my life and just settling. I never want to settle for anything. Like, I love my life and I'm grateful every single day. And I just want to give a message out there to people watching this, not to waste any time and not to think, oh, I'll do that in a bit, or I'll save up until I'm, 30 or 40, or I'll put that away. Don't put anything away. Obviously, be sensible with what you're doing, but live your life, because tomorrow's promised to nobody. No one's guaranteed to wake up in the morning. And I know one thing, I want to go with as little regrets as possible. And like I say, I went through that tough year. I didn't want to, but I'm kind of glad it's happened, because I've learned so much about myself that I would have never known if that hadn't happened. So people, it's not a dress rehearsal. You get one life.
I do think it's another really interesting point that, without the failure, without the mistakes, you don't learn, change, and develop in a way that I think eventually you can be really proud of.
You don't evolve through, if you don't go through them struggles and them hard times, you don't evolve and you don't go to that next level. You don't find that next chapter of yourself. You keep living within, and then you have to experience tough times in order to go through them. It's life experience. It's why when you talk to these, you might see an old guy at the bar or an old guy at the restaurant, whatever, and you talk to him for 5 minutes and it's like they've been through so much and it's life experience, and you can't get that if you don't go through the hard times.
Well, you're a human being, mate. And
Yeah.
and it's honestly, it's refreshingly nice to see you having come out of that turbulent time.
Appreciate it.
You've also had a very long day, so I appreciate you squeezing us in. One thing I asked all my guests is if you can offer our listeners some advice on how they can best untap their potential. Because it's my belief that we're all sat on mounds of untapped potential.
Yeah.
You know, from Tommy Fury, what takeaways could you give our listeners so that they can achieve more or live a fuller life?
I think don't set yourself boundaries. Don't have any boundaries up here. I think about what you want to do and go after it. But you can't set yourself boundaries. If you want to do something, you got to go pedal to the metal. You got to go 100 miles an hour, and you got to really throw yourself into it. And don't be afraid to get no's and setbacks and all this sort of stuff. You just got to keep pushing through that. Any successful and famous person will tell you that. I remember watching something from Arnold years ago. It's like the amount of times he got told no, 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 no. He couldn't go to Hollywood and he couldn't win Mr. Universe and he couldn't do that. And look at the star he is today. And I grew up watching these motivational videos and I thought, you know what? I'm going to go for this. And I'm not going to let anything stop me. And whatever comes along the way, I'm going to take, and I'm just going to ride the wave. So my message to everybody, set yourself a goal and go and achieve it. Don't set yourself any boundaries. Don't limit yourself and just throw your all into it. And guess what? 99.9% of the time when you do that, it works out.
Thanks very much for coming in.
Thank you for having me. Perfect. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed that episode. And if you want to hear more incredible conversations with extraordinary people to help unlock the potential within all of us, then please subscribe, follow, and review the show wherever you're listening or watching. Thanks again, and we'll catch you next week right here on Untapped.